All right, it's 5:30 and no one has showed up for class except for me and my dog Tara. We're so happy to be at the studio, though. We're going to do a class anyway, and I'm going to record it. And for those of you who would like to practice along with me at another time, you're welcome to do so. And if anybody decides to show up, they can just pop on. Maybe the class will be a little shorter than an hour tonight. So I often go to our bookshelf in the lobby there for a little inspiration before I teach. And this jumped out at me, Unseen Rain by Rumi. And there was actually a bookmark in this page. Here's what Rumi writes. Don't forget the nut. Being so proud of the shell, the body has its inward ways, the five senses. They crack open and the friend is revealed. Crack open the friend, you become the all one. Don't forget the nut. Being so proud of the shell, the body has its inward ways, the five senses. They crack open and the friend is revealed. Crack open the friend, you become the all one. The five senses. The thing about the senses, they're present. They're always in the present when we bring our attention to them. So that seeing can only be seen in the present. Hearing can only be heard in the present. Smelling, tasting, touching, all happens in the here and now. We can't see what happened yesterday. We can't see what happens after class. Seeing happening right now. So as a way of getting grounded and present, we can bring our attention to the senses. So let's bring the palms together in front of the heart and feel your hands touching each other. And feel your pelvis connecting to the cushion or the ground underneath you. Let the legs rest into the ground and feel that sensation where the ground comes up to meet you and where you drop into the ground. So let's take a moment. You can bring your hands back onto your lap and let the shoulders rest away from your ears. Beginning to tune into the natural flow of your breath. And I really encourage you throughout this practice to follow your own pace, to allow the breath to guide you through the practice and to trust in your own capacity for rhythm and flow. And sometimes it gets a little choppy and we get separated from the flow, we get separated from our awareness with the breath, and then we come back, and that's partly my job to bring us back. So we're going to do a twisty side bendy flow this evening. So that what I would like by the end of this class is to have a little bit more capacity for breath. And we can get a little, breathing can get a little bit difficult when the muscles of the respiratory system get tight. So the muscles of the respiratory system, there's the respiratory diaphragm right at the base of the rib cage. It's that big muscle, like a big dome at the base of the rib cage. And as we breathe in and the lungs fill, the respiratory diaphragm drops down into the belly, right? That's what causes the belly to expand. And then as we breathe out, the respiratory diaphragm relaxes and it comes back up into the abdominal cavity. So it sort of goes like this, and inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And I'm kind of exaggerating my breath so that you can see the movement of the diaphragm with the breath. And it's very much like a wave, right? Kind of a wave flowing onto the shore and then receding. So you might often hear of the breath being related to like a wave. So if that helps, you can bring that image back into your mind. So there's the respiratory diaphragm. There's the intercostal muscles, which are the muscles between the ribs, and they too can get a little tight, a little stuck. When they're stuck, the ribs can't expand and move as easily. So the side bending and the twists are really great for stretching and releasing the ribs. So we're going to do quite a bit of that tonight. And of course, the lungs being the main system of respiration, right? And they're big. We forget how much of the chest cavity the lungs take up, and the top of the lungs come right up to the collarbones here, right? Whoa, and they fill the chest cavity. They come almost to the bottom of the ribs. There's my bottom ribs, so they're probably just about there. So, and we've got two, of course, and they're like cushions in there as we take a deep breath in. They're like big, comfy cushions. So often on an inhale, we can rest into the lungs. The back bends are a lovely place to use the support of the lungs. So we might do a little bit of that tonight as well. So let's get started. Come into a comfortable cross-legged position and bring your thumbs, your index fingers to about the bottom of your rib cage where the respiratory diaphragm is. And we're going to circle. The tricky one. I find this tricky. Probably would not have been a great belly dancer. So circling around. So I'm taking my whole rib cage and I'm sort of curling the spine back and then letting it come forward a little bit. Turning. Go the other direction, right? You might find that the breath begins to synchronize with the movement, or maybe the movement is synchronizing with the breath. So I'm inhaling. Feels natural to inhale as I come forward and exhale as I go back. Good. Let's come back to center. Cross your legs the other way so that your right shin is in front, or excuse me, whatever shin was in front is now behind you. And we're going to open up the sides now by simply bringing the fingertips to the floor to either side of you. And we're going to inhale the left arm up and side bend over to the right. There's your side ribs. I really like to bring my hands onto my ribs and feel them, right? So you might even tap a little bit of breath into the side ribs here. Into the side ribs, there's the respiratory diaphragm, and then the waist too, which also can get tight and short. So breathing in and out here. Bring your hand to the floor if it's not already there. And we're going to draw that left shoulder back a little bit, hug the right shoulder blade in towards the spine, and then carefully turn your head to look at your upper arm, only if that feels appropriate for your neck. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale and come all the way back and bring the left hand to the floor. Just take a moment to notice how that feels. through the left side. Let's go to the other side. Left hand on the floor, inhale, right arm up, and side bending over to the left. All right, I'm going to take my left hand and do a little tapping there. Do the left waist, left ribs, breast tissue, armpit. Picking up some of that stuck energy. You might find you have a little bit more energy after this practice. It's like we've found some little treasure houses there of energy. So inhale and maybe turn the head to look up at that upper arm. Just careful. I'm going to wrap my left shoulder blade a little in towards my spine and have a look up. Take a deep breath in and then exhale and return back to center. We're going to come right up to standing and come into some of those movements on our feet. So I'm going to draw some of this stuff away from the camera and angle my screen a little differently. So I think that should work. Okay, come to the top of your mat. Coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's shift a little bit forward and back towards the heels, towards the toes. Feeling the weight of the body and how it spills forward, it spills back, it also spills side to side. And if you let the feet help to ground you, no matter whether you go forward or back or side to side, you'll stay rooted, right? So the legs reaching down through the soles of the feet, through the heels and the mounds of the big toes, reaching strongly into the ground to feel the spine then reaching up and up through the central channel, up through the back of the throat, through the top of the head, and then opening your palms forward, stretch your fingers a little bit, and draw the shoulder blades in towards the spine. Find an inhalation. So it's like waiting for the right wave. Breath comes in and the arms float up. Look up, bring the palms together. Exhale, let the head come down to look at the fingertips in front of your heart. Inhale, rise up, look up, palms together. Exhale, palms in front of your heart. 2 more times. And this time, inhale, reach up, take hold of the right wrist and slide your hips to the left and side bend over to the right. Keep both feet anchored into the ground. Draw that left shoulder back a little bit and the right shoulder forward. Exhale, coming back to center. Take hold of the left wrist over to the other side, sliding the hips to the right. A nice long stretch through the right side. Exhale, back to center. Swing the arms all the way down, back in front of the heart. Inhale, sweep up. Take hold of the right wrist, side bend over to the right. Gentle little tug there on the left wrist, open up through the left side. Exhale, back to center. Take hold of the right wrist. Side bending to the left. Exhale, back to center. This time, arms out to the sides. We're going to fold forward into Uttanasana. Let's take 3 breaths here. Each breath, right? Each breath is so important. Right? It's another moment here of living. So we breathe in and notice. Exhale, spill a little deeper, right? As the back of the legs, the back of the hips, the spine begin to release. Another deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, palms together. And then exhale, palms in front of the heart. And away we go again. Find an inhalation, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Remember to go at your own pace. We're going to take 3 breaths down here. Nice deep breaths, full breaths. Nice even breaths. Exhale, reach the arms up to the side. Inhale, come all the way up, palms together. Exhale, palms in front of the heart. Inhale, sweep up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. This time, come halfway up. Lift the heart and head, extend the spine. Press down through the heels, lift up through the sitting bones. Let there be a little curve in your low back without collapsing your rib cage towards the floor. On an exhale, plant your hands, step the right foot back, and then the left foot back, coming into plank position. Pause here in plank position. Notice what happens to the breath as the shapes change. Right? Different pathways begin to develop. Right? So noticing breath here. Nice deep in breath. Exhale, press it through the heels, reach out through the crown of the head. Then inhale, bring your knees to the floor and then your chest down to the floor. Remember this one? It was called the inchworm. Everybody did it. It was in style for a long time. Inchworm, and then you scooch forward into cobra pose. Right? Then exhale, press into your hands, slide the hips back, downward facing dog pose. Yeah, let's take some nice even breaths here, dropping into your breathing pattern. So much intelligence in the body that we overlook. Right? The breath itself is so intelligent. We often find ourselves being swept into the patterns of the outer world. We forget about these inner patterns that are available to us any moment to pay attention to. So downward facing dog, let your head hang here. And then have a look at the space between your hands, bend the knees. We're going to step the right foot forward, bring the left knee down, inhale, and come up to this crescent lunge. And you can allow the hips to sink a little bit. So my right sitting bone is sinking towards my right heel. On an inhale, there goes the big pillowy lung so that I can rest back and let the lungs help to keep me lifted and buoyant. Then exhale, bring the hands to the floor, step the right foot back. Yeah, you might pedal out your heels a little bit here. Right, when I do this, I get a nice little stretch across the side seams of my body. So good. And then have a look at the space between your hands. Step the left foot forward, bring the right knee down. Inhale. Let the left sitting bone begin to sink towards the left heel. Beautiful. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor. Step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Lift the sitting bones and begin to press the heels towards the floor. Beautiful. Have a look at the space between your hands and then step and step again. Lift the heart and head. Exhale, fold forward. Let's take hold of the elbows here and create just a little bit more traction for the spine and the sides of the body. I'm just gonna swing a little side to side here. Again, I'm looking for a little bit of movement in the rib cage, kind of juicing up the respiratory diaphragm and the intercostal muscles, right? Opening up the back of the ribs here. And then inhale, sweep up. Exhale, palms in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up, step the right foot back, step the left foot back, plank position, knees, chest, inhale, cobra, exhale, press the hands into the floor, slide the hips up and back. Have a look at the space between your hands, step the right foot forward, leave the left knee up as you come into this low lunge. This time, we're going to bring the left elbow onto the right knee, little twisty shape here, and the right arm reaching over the right ear. Press the left heel back, hug the right hip in towards the midline, keeping that right knee over the ankle. Beautiful. Exhale, turn towards the top of your mat, place your hands down, step the right foot back. Have a look at the space between your hands, step the left foot forward, coming up into this high lunge. Then exhale, bring the right elbow to the left knee, sweeping the left arm over your ear. Hug that left hip in and back towards the back of your mat. Little twisty there to the left. Exhale, hands to the floor, step the left foot back, downward facing dog pose. Have a look at the space between your hands and step again to the top of your mat. Inhale, look up, exhale, fold forward. This time, your first two fingers are going to wrap around your big toes. And elbows pointing out to the sides. With each exhale, there's a little encouragement to spill the spine forward. And now you might begin to even feel the rib cage and the belly against your thighs as you fold forward. Not to force that, right? If you're up here, perfect. Exhale. Release your toes. Inhale, sweep up, look up, exhale, palms in front of your heart. Inhale, sweep up, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, exhale, plant your hands, step the right foot back, left foot back, plank position. Inhale, knees, chest, scoop forward, cobra pose. So the tops of the feet press into the floor, belly button comes in. Very carefully, I'm going to spin a little bit and look over my right shoulder. My right shoulder is drawing back, my left shoulder is drawing forward. And then other side, I come to center, I'm going to draw my left shoulder back, my right shoulder forward. And then back to center. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg, stretch it up. It could go out to the side a little bit, bend your knee, and begin to press the left heel towards the floor. So my knee and my pelvis are turning to the right, but my shoulders I'm going to try to keep level. So I'm dropping that right shoulder, lifting the left, and then leveling the pelvis, stretch that right leg way up, dog splits, And then step it forward between your hands. Bring the left knee down. Inhale, crescent lunge. And then exhale, palms together, spin to the right, hook your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Yeah. And if this works for you, lifting the left knee, pressing back through the left heel. Take some good breaths there. So now my belly is pressing in towards my thigh on the in-breath. So good. And the thighs pressing in towards the belly on the exhale. Deep breath in, exhale, spin to the top of your mat. Step the right foot back, downward facing dog pose. And then lifting the left leg, spin your hips to the left, bend your knee, and sink your right heel towards the floor. Level the shoulders. Nice little rotation there as the pelvis turns to the left. The rib cage is turning towards the floor. And then spinning the pelvis so that it's looking towards the floor. Stretch that left leg high and then step it forward. Bring your right knee down. Palms together. Turning to the left, hook your elbow to the outside of the left knee. And maybe lifting the right knee. I'm pressing my left hand into my right hand to help turn a little bit more towards the left. Good. And then turn to the top of your mat. Place your hands down. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, we come up. Exhale, palms in front of your heart. Okay. Bend the knees. So my feet are parallel. I'm bending my knees. I'm going to sit my hips down. Letting my sitting bones turn up a little bit. So Utkatasana, but we're going to do Utkatasana with a twist. So I'm going to take my left elbow to the outside of my right knee as I turn ribs and chest to the right. And my palms together in front of my heart. So you could stay here, or if this works for you, the left arm goes down, the right arm goes up, spreading across the shoulders, across the heart. And then back to center, other side. Other side, keep nice and low, hooking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Nice little tuck and a twist there. Beautiful. Spin back to face forward. Sweep the arms up. Have a look up between the hands. Palms together. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands. Step the right foot back. Left foot back. Knees, chest, sliding forward into cobra pose. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up now, this time keeping the hips square and pressing the left heel down. So by square, I mean I'm dropping that right hip, so my belly button is looking towards the floor. And then I'm going to step that right foot in front of, right in front of the left foot, like I'm on a balance beam. And I'm going to walk my hands in a little closer so that I can begin to straighten my legs. I'm going to draw that right hip back as I press into my heels. The left heel pressing down, right heel pressing down. Both heels pressing down. Lengthening my spine forward, nice and long. Beautiful. And then I'm going to walk my hands forward again, step my right foot back, downward facing dog. Step my left foot in front of the right foot, walk the hands back, right? Shifting weight into the left heel, into the right heel, into both heels. So strong. Lifting the heart, lifting the head, lengthening the spine. Plant your hands, walk your feet back, downward facing dog, bend the knees, hop, step or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, look up, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, come all the way up to standing. Okay, and then turn to the side of your mat and take a nice wide step. Turn your feet out slightly. Yeah. And then take your arms nice and wide. Let's turn the palms forward. Yeah. Bend the knees and come into a nice deep squat. Bend the elbows. Goddess pose. Breathing in and breathing out. Falling into the rhythm of your breath. Breathing in and then breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Bring your hands onto your hips, spring your heels away from each other. Exhale, Prasarita, Padottanasana, wide-legged forward bend. Breathing in, lifting the heart and head. Breathing out, dropping forward. Breathing in, lifting, breathing out, rounding. One more time in. Exhale, and come all the way down. Down here, you're going to spin the right foot all the way to the right, angle the left foot, bring your right elbow onto the left knee, and then wind that left arm. Let's put it up towards the ceiling first and draw out of that right shoulder, and then bring the left arm over the ear. Yeah, turning the ribs and the chest a little towards the ceiling. And let's breathe in, come into a little bit of a side bend, and then breathing out back into elongation. Inhaling and exhaling. One more time. Inhale, exhale. And then turn towards the right. Plant your hands. Step the left foot a little more forward. And then straighten the back leg and begin to straighten the front leg. Right, Pravottanasana. You're going to draw that right hip back as you fold forward over the right leg. Breathing in, you might lift the heart and head a little, and breathing out, spill forward. Breathing in and breathing out. On your next inhale, we're going to bend that front knee and press ourselves all the way up into Warrior One. See if you can keep your feet parallel with that left heel on the ground. Warrior One. And then we're going to spin the ribs and the chest to the right and come into a revolved warrior. Ooh, and that's really tricky with the feet on the ground. So I challenge you to keep the heels, both heels down. Breathing in and breathing out. Back to Warrior One. Bring your hands onto the floor and we're going to walk them all the way back to center and spin the left foot out on to the left. Angle the right foot. Bring the left elbow onto the front knee and then wind that right arm Up towards the ceiling, draw up and out of the left shoulder. And then exhale over the ear. And we're going to inhale into the right lung. Exhale, elongating the spine. Yeah. So as you find the rhythm here of the inhale and the exhale, we're bringing some kind of pulsating movement into the lungs, into the lung on the right side, but also the liver is over here and the ascending colon. Some waves of energy coming into the right side. Great. And then let's spin to look at the left side of the mat, angling your right foot so that they are parallel, the feet are parallel, Purvottanasana, and that left hip is going to draw back and the right hip forward so that they're more square with each other rather than on an angle. That's it, lengthening the spine. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then coming up into warrior one, keep the feet parallel. Yeah. Don't let that right foot turn out at all. Keep the feet parallel like you're on skis and both heels are down. Yeah. And coming into warrior one and then revolved warrior, the heels down. Whoa. So you won't go very far. Don't force it. Exhale. Find your center. Back to warrior one. And then step to the top of your mat. Palms together. Exhale. Palms in front of your heart. Sit into Utkatasana. Sweep the arms back and up. Palms together. Exhale. Fold forward. Inhale. Lift up. Exhale. Plant your hands. Stepping back into plank position. This time we're going to lower onto our belly from plank all the way down. And then I'm just going to scooch back because it appears I'm moving off my mat. And I'm going to reach my arms like in a big V and come up onto my fingertips with my forehead on the ground. Wiggling my hips a little side to side here. Yeah, jiggling the abdominal organs around. So that we want to have a sense of the organs gliding and sliding and moving. The connective tissue that wraps our organs together, right? It gets tight too, and then breath can't move as easily through the organs. So I'm up on my fingertips and I'm going to see if I can just wiggle my rib cage a little bit away from my pelvis. So I'm wiggling my rib cage forward as I reach my legs back. Yeah, wiggling forward, reaching the legs back. And then I'm going to bring my hands to either side of my rib cage on the floor, hugging the back body. So the shoulder blades are hugging a little bit towards the spine, like they could shield my heart at the back there. And then pressing the pubic bone into the floor, and the legs get longer. Spread the toes, let your baby toes reach out and away from each other. And then we're going to inhale and lift the head and chest. As you exhale, you might deflate a little towards the ground. And then inhale, you inflate and float. Exhale, come back down. One more time. On your next exhalation, press yourself back into child's pose. Let your knees stay relatively close together rather than a wide knee pose, so that your belly and your rib cage are resting on the tops of your thighs. And then if your head doesn't come to the ground, stack your hands, your arms, and rest the forehead on the back of your arms. And we're going to take some nice deep breaths here. As you breathe in, feel the expansion and the widening of the rib cage and the belly pressing into the thighs. So there's your abdominal organs expanding and pressing into your thighs. And then as you exhale, relax the belly and let the thighs press into the abdomen. Let the head relax here. We're just going to stay for a number of breaths. Rinsing out the organs with the breath. And then let's take another breath in. And then exhale, coming forward into table pose. We're going to sweep the legs. Let's sweep them to the left and sit back onto, sweep them to the right, sit back onto your left hip. I'm just going to situate so that you can see me. And I'm going to cross the top of the right foot across the bottom foot. Okay. Right hand to the outside of the right leg. I'm going to turn my palm out. And left hand onto the floor behind me. So for those of you who've been coming to my classes, this has been maybe one of the hits. I do this probably in every class now, Vrasasana, I love it. That right hip is going to be a little off the ground, so can you sink it a bit more towards the floor? And the shoulder blades hugging at the back of the body. I'm going to look over the right shoulder. And just take some breaths here. Beautiful twist and slight back bend for the upper body. And one more deep breath in. Exhale, come back to center. I'm going to switch sides, and you can just swing your feet out in front and then walk them over to the left. Come up onto your right hip, and then crossing the top of your left foot over the arch of your bottom foot. Tara's coming to check it out. Check out the scenery here. Back of the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, right hand behind. Now encourage that left hip to sink down. Yeah. And lifting up and over, having a look to the left. There's so many variations of this pose. That it might be worth doing a little research to see if there's a variation that you prefer. It's a twist and a back bend for the upper body. And then exhale and come back to center. And then crossing your legs comfortably and letting the shoulders just roll around a bit. Roll them forward, roll them back. Great. And coming into a little breathing practice here before we come into Shavasana. Let's do the bee's breath for Mari Pranayam. It's a little buzzing sound. on the exhale. You can do it on the inhale as well, but I find it's a little bit more challenging, and at the end of the practice, nice to do something really relaxed and easy. So we breathe in, and then on the exhale, the lips are closed and the teeth are slightly open. Humming on the exhale. Couple more times. Let your hearing hear. And then let it go. Opening to the sounds in the room, opening to the sounds outside. Opening to the five senses. Notice what you're seeing, what you're touching, what you're tasting, smelling, all in the present moment. And then please stretch out. Make yourself as comfortable as you can for Shavasana. Coming onto your back. Letting the legs and the arms just rest where they land, without really needing to fuss. Trust in how your body has landed. And then can you practice coming to stillness for the next minute or so? Nowhere to go, nowhere to be, no one to be. Dropping into the residue here of your practice, like a gift. Taking as much time as you need to let your body just rest taking in the benefit of doing your practice, all the twisting and side bending, opening up the lungs, opening up the channels, the nadis, energy channels in your body, right, which can really then support the mind and heart. So take your time. You don't need to come out of your practice, out of your Shavasana, but I will say thank you so much for practicing with me, if you in fact are practicing with me. I certainly had a lot of fun here this afternoon, and I hope that we'll see each other again soon. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Take good care.